Alright guys, we're back. And I want to show you something here that I encountered while I was trying to basically, like I said, push this out to kind of make it, you can see that it's just off right there, and I need that to be basically even, so this needs to move that way. Let's see if I can do it. You know, I have to pull it out basically like that. And then I tried to pinch them together to make this seam, excuse me, connect. And what I realized, I don't know if you can see this or not. You can see right there how that bows out. So basically I need to shave kind of coming down where my finger's going. I just need to shave that down a little bit, I think, and that will help it butt up a little better out here. Because that seems to be kind of preventing it from button up right. So that's what I'm going to do before I get to welding again. Just want to give you guys a quick little update on that. Alright, so you can see where I got most of that basically shaved down there. Now I just have to go back on the outside and try and butt it up and see what's happening. Still dealing with the bed. I wanted to show you guys some progress. Hard fought. So you're probably wondering, what in the hell are you doing here, Tyson? So I got basically we're tacked kind of up to the bed sides, and then you can see a couple little spots. Maybe I can rearrange a little better here. Yeah, you see those little tacks I've got inside there. This one and this one. And then we kind of came down and got a couple more here. But this is where I did a few on top. What I was running into is that I could get like this area right here to line up. Maybe that's better. So yeah, I could get this little bump here to line up perfectly. So I went ahead and tacked it in. I was like, sweet, I got that done. I did the tack here, did the tack here. Came out here and looked, and this side was sitting up high. Now it's pretty much even. About as even as it's gonna get. And it does change. That's the problem with welding. Things just change. You know, you get everything lined up perfectly, you do a couple welds, you look at it, and something's off. You're like, what in the hell? But that's kind of what I've been fighting. So I got this to the point now to where I'm comfortable with it. The lines line up good. That one looks a little high, but I can work that down. I have that piece of wood's kind of pushing it up a little bit too. So once I get that out of there, it should relax a little bit and come back down. But I have to do some filler in here. You know, I tried to go back and do some cutting and trimming back on the inside, and it just was not happening. But doing my measurements and the levels and everything, I believe it's right where it needs to be. I just have to do a little bit of filler. So I cut all these little pieces here out of some scrap we had from the bed that Christopher cut up, the long bed. So we've got all these pieces here that, you know, we were able to have from that long bed. So I just cut some strips out of that so it was the same thickness. And I just cut a bunch of different, I didn't do any real measurements. I just eyeballed it and said, hey, I need some thin ones, maybe some thicker ones. And that's kind of where I'm at now, is just getting these little filler pieces in. And I'll kind of show you, I don't know if you can see that or not, this little guy here, kind of, you can wedge it. Alright guys, we're back with the F100 now. It's been a couple days. I've been working on the Sonoma with my brother. Let's see here. So I had some technical difficulties with the camera. I got it all figured out now apparently, but you can kind of see what I've been doing here. Just tacking all the way down, and then it's like I have to keep putting things behind the bed or pushing it out or pushing it in to kind of make everything butt up perfectly. As you can see down here, how this is flared out. It was flared, like this part was sticking in before, but I got a piece of wood back here pushing it out, so this piece right here that I'm getting ready to weld is like perfectly flush. And I got a little bit, you can see where I did some repair. This was all blown out with holes like this part here where I screwed up basically. don't know if you can see that. I don't know if this light is helping or hurting. Let me move it. There we go. Yeah, that looks better. So you can see where I was blowing it out, because this metal right here, for whatever reason, is really thin. It seems to get thicker once you get down farther and once you get up farther, which is kind of weird, but whatever. Good second to focus. Yeah, but I mean, you can see there. And if you're a welder by trade, just sorry. I know that looks bad, but I'm learning. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'm basically just gonna keep coming down here. I'm gonna see if I can get this little part here welded in. And then what I was doing with this piece here was just a scrap from the long bed. I'll stick it in, basically behind. I don't know if you'll see it peek through there or not. Yeah, you can see where it just turned light right there. That kind of helps with the blow through, as if you can hold this back here or have it held back here somehow. And then just kind of one hand with the welder and come down. But that's where we're at. I'll keep going. See if I can kind of get this one, what do you call it, spot welded right here. It's so thin that I'm a little nervous, but I'll put that thing behind there and see. Just keep going and I'll get back with you guys. Alright guys, I got the side pretty much all stitched together. I'll show you here, maybe get a little closer so you can see if it'll focus. Top, come down here. I still got a little hole I'm working on right there, you can see it. That's my finger for contrast and the size of that hole. Pretty much all the way down. And I got one under there. I was kind of nervous to get too close to that edge because it always seems to blow them out in like a little hole. But that one actually did pretty good, so. It's all stitched together. I basically just need to come back now. You can't really like drag a bead down the line, down the seam. So I'm just doing like these little, these are just kind of little one-time, 3-second blasts with the welder to get them to kind of, what do you call it, spot weld all the way down. And I'll come down here and do one, then I'll do one up here, then I'll do one in the middle, then I'll come back down just to try and keep the heat, from warping too bad. Because it's really weird. This isn't, like, even from here to here, the metal is a different thickness. So this is thin, this is thicker. So it's like, I can do this with the thin metal setting, but it takes a little longer to get the penetration you need, and it would be, well, I don't know if smarter is the right word, but probably more appropriate to weld this with a different setting. And I'll show you. This is my welder right here, Lincoln Electric 140 HD. It's actually my brother's, but those are my settings. I mean, that thing is turned so far down. It's just a standard MIG welder. For this really thin metal, even coming all the way down here, you could see I was able to do pretty good with dragging a little bead across there, but other spots was just, like here, I was just blowing through so bad. So I kind of want to keep focused on this side while I've got the welder set up perfectly for that really thin metal. And then I can, like I said, it just takes me a little longer up here to get the penetration, but otherwise I would just keep, I'd go across here and come back and, do a bunch of different stuff. But I think what I want to do with that is get the welder set up, because I can run a little higher settings. I can run the speed, the feed a little faster, and then the voltage, I believe, a little higher. And that gives me good penetration on the bed because it's pretty thick. So in lieu of just kind of switching back and forth, switching settings, constantly trying to get the thing right, I'm just going to focus on the side and get that done. But it's definitely coming together. You can see Christopher already did this side for the most part. There's there's definitely patchwork and stuff that's going to have to happen, but I don't know how much of this I'm actually going to film. I may just stop and do some periodic stuff. Like this side's not even done at all. But I'm going to focus on this one up here. Try and get this whole side finished welded and maybe ground down to where I can kind of get an idea of that full process, and then I'll just try and transfer that knowledge back to here. But I think what I'm going to do is do maybe some periodic stuff. You know, once I get this finished welded and it's all gnarly, maybe I'll come back and video for you guys before I grind it all down, and then you can kind of see the before and after. Because I mean, I don't know if you can see the side view, but some of those welds are pretty gnarly. But yeah, let me get a little farther and I'll get back with you guys.